What's up survivors, I'm NaturalBorn, and in today's video we're going to be looking at 50 more tips and tricks for the console version of 7 Days to Die. I'll leave timestamps in the description below. Now if you're new to the channel, or you enjoyed the video, then maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. It's not only free, but a massive help to me. But let's get straight into the video with tip number 1. When out and about looting, it can be real easy to forget what days that you looted certain POIs, and you don't want to run into a POI one day early and reset your timer. You can place a wooden sign out the front and write what day that you were last there, and that way you'll always know when the loot's ready to grab. If you tried out the HATCHFRAME and SMASH tip, and it still wasn't enough to keep the zombies out, then you can double up with the double hatch trick. That way, you'll have twice the protection against infection. There's always a point in the game where you decide that you want to move your forge. Now if your forge is loaded up with goodies and you break it, you're actually going to lose all of your resources inside of the forge. So you want to craft all of your respective resources back into smeltable items, and once you place your forge back down, then you can smelt all the items back into the forge. When you're running around in your world, you're going to find a lot of smeltable items from iron to brass and lead. Now you have two options. You can either scrap it on the go and lose 25% of the final resource, or you can take it back to base and smelt it down in your forge to receive even more resources from the item. Early game, the grind is real. When you're running around in your first week, especially day 1, make sure you collect a lot of feathers and craft a lot of arrows. This is going to help level your weaponsmithing, so instead of crafting a bow and then your arrows, always craft arrows first and your bows and melee weapons second. Early game where you're out and about hunting, it can be more than annoying to take down a meal. If you've ever played Skyrim, you'll be aware of sneak damage. Now in 7 Days to Die, you can use the same tactic when hunting animals to get a boost of ×2 damage. Sneak damage also applies to zombies too, so make sure to use this to your advantage and become the assassin of the apocalypse. Once you've found a schematic and read it once, you don't really need them anymore, but you can actually read the same schematic multiple times to level that corresponding skill. Gun-related books will level your gunsmithing and so on, and once you've maxed out your skills, you can sell the schematics for around 200 to 400 dukes each, or scrap them to receive 3 pieces of paper from them. Now I mentioned in a previous video that you can repair cloth items to raise your tailoring, but there is a quicker way to do this. When you craft cloth from cotton, this will raise your tailoring skill, and you can either sell the stacks of cloth or use them for crafting. Duct tape is the most profitable thing to craft with cloth. When filling up your glass jars at a water source, always bear in mind that you can use a max stack of jars on a water source to get more bang for your buck. A max stack of jars is 500, and using this on one water source block will get you 500 jars of murky water. Now there's a lot of things that you can pull apart with a wrench, and not a lot that you can pick up. If you ever come across spotlights in your world, you can actually use a wrench to pick these up. Spotlights make for great additions to your base and your horde base. When you're new to the game, the skill system can be quite overwhelming. There's 3 skills that I recommend newer players to always invest in first. The first on this list is Sexual Tyrannosaurus. This will help you regen stam a lot faster. Second is Pummel Pete. This will help you take down zombies a lot faster. And last on this list is Minus 69er. This will help you do more block damage when harvesting resources, allowing you to get more of those precious resources even faster. Late game, one of the most valuable resources in the game is oil, and I don't mean for selling. Oil is used to craft repair kits, and late game, trust me, you're going to need a lot of them. One of the most common places to find oil is in the trash bags scattered over the roads and around POIs, so if you're on the hunt for oil, make sure to always check these. Stainless steel upgrade is the in-game upgrade material. You can only buy it from traders, and I'll tell you now that it's not worth it. Traders barely have it in stock, and if they do, then it's never enough. If you upgrade any steel with this item, you will need more upgrade material to repair it. My best advice, never use this on the outside of your bases or your horde base. I think this block is better off used as a decorative block. Early game, traders aren't the most helpful, but late game, they'll be your best friend. Traders can stock a lot of rare items in the game that can't be found anywhere else, like bandit armor. They also have a chance to sell machetes, engines, augers, nail guns, and chainsaws. Make sure to always check them when their stock resets. While we're on the topic of traders, another thing that they can stock is certain building blocks that you can't find anywhere else in the game, from azalea trees to ovens, munition boxes, trash cans, and shopping trolleys. The list goes on. So if you consider yourself a builder in this game, then traders are the one place stop to shop. Living in a zombie infested world, you're going to need a lot of bullets, which is going to require a lot of gunpowder. Now you can craft gunpowder in a workbench, but if you craft it in the chem station, it's actually going to use half of the amount of resources, allowing you to get twice as much gunpowder, leading to twice as much firepower. Early game, you can find a good amount of gas from gas pumps and converting gas barrels. But late game, when you're running your mini bike, chainsaw, and especially auger, you're going to chew through that gas like there's no tomorrow. Now if you travel to the desert and start mining there, even at bedrock, you're going to find veins everywhere of not only every resource in the game, but oil shale. It is extremely common to find, and one stack of oil shale converts into 50,000 gas. So trust me, you want to mine in the desert. As I've mentioned before, farming screamer hordes can be a great way to stock up on loot. Screamers have the ability to scream and call on 5 zombies. They can scream up to 5 times, allowing you to farm 25 zombies from each screamer. Screamers can call in cops, ferals, dogs, zombie bears, and also other screamers. So be careful out there, survivors. As I've mentioned in my previous tips and tricks, certain foods give off a smell that zombies can sense. Now there are a few foods that don't give off any smell at all. These are the vegetable stews and blueberry pie. So if you do a lot of farming in this game, then they can be a great food source to carry around with you. When running around early game and collecting resources, or even running for your life from a wandering horde, coffee can be a great item to keep on your character, giving you a stamina boost that'll keep you going. If you drink it while running, it'll passively refill your stamina, or you can stand still for a second and drink it to recover 100 stamina. It will also help keep you warm from the cold. When you find challenges around your world, you can actually read more than one challenge. Even though they are not active on your screen, they are active in your quest tab. So whether you're hunting or killing zombies, every kill will still go towards its respective challenge. You can't have the same challenge active at the same time though, and if you read that same challenge while it's active, you will just waste the challenge. Just like the challenges, you can have more than one treasure map active on your map at all times, allowing you to have a total of 7 different buried treasures to go find. You can't have the same treasure map active on your map from the same person, but if you try, you will successfully read the treasure map and no icon will pop up. The main reason that you want to read them all at the same time is so when you decide to go get them, a lot of the time, they will be quite close to each other, making it a lot easier for you. When you place hatch frames up a wall like this, you can actually use it as an elevator, allowing you to go up as many blocks as you want in a couple of seconds. Landing on a hay bale allows your character to take no full damage from any height. You can use this in conjunction with the hatch frames to make yourself a working elevator. When upgrading concrete blocks to reinforced concrete, it can take quite a bit of time to wait for it to dry, especially if it's your horde base and it's horde night. Now a wee trick that I discovered is when you have wet cement, you can pause your game and the timer for it to dry will actually continue to tick down. So if you wait anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, you can dry your concrete in-game in the blink of an eye. When you spawn in the desert, or even if you're there exploring or looting, you're going to notice a lot of cactus plants pretty much everywhere. Now you can actually break these and receive a good amount of fibre from them, but not only that, you'll receive yucca as well. It can be a lot faster to stock up doing this instead of running around and picking the yucca plants. As I mentioned in my video, all the different zombies on console, cops have the ability to explode once they have taken too much damage. Just before this, you'll hear their heartbeat get louder and faster, and that's when they're going to charge at you and explode. There's certain blocks that your character is able to stand on and shoot through at the same time. A few examples are any frames, iron bars, and iron grates. These make for excellent defense around your main base and horde base, and they also work great at keeping spider zombies out of your compound. There's one item in the game that I think is the best way to make money late game, and that is crafting glue and selling it to the trader. All you need is one bone and one murky water to craft one glue, and if you've been following the way of the hoarder, then you should have plenty of bones. You can also use cloth to turn the glue into duct tape for more profit, but you're going to need a cotton farm to do that efficiently. Late game, when you do a lot of mining, you're going to end up with a lot of tunnels. Now if you decide to dig tunnels towards different points of interest, like cities or traders for easy access from your base, you can actually craft yourself a mini bike underground and use this to get around a lot easier. I use mine to travel to the desert with my auger, and then that way I can load up the mini bike with all of the goodies. Crawlers are a type of special infected in the game. Although they are not fast, they do have the ability to break your legs, so be cautious when dealing with them. You can use a splint to fix yourself back up and you'll be good to go in no time at all. If you've ever spotted a dock area in the middle of a lake or thought about building a base out there, then be careful, because zombies won't actually drown. They will all gather around underneath your character, and if you've got foundations down there, then they're going to start beating on them. The only way to deal with them after that is to run and hope that they despawn. When you're inside your inventory or a storage box, you might have noticed a small loot bag icon in the top left corner. Now you can actually click on this to auto sort your inventory. I find this extremely helpful for drop boxes when I'm going back out to pick up some loot. Now we've talked about brown spots and black spots on the map, but in the burnt forest biomes, if you look at your map and you see small scattered black spots, these are actually small deposits of fertilizer. So whether or not you're looking to set up a farm early game, this can be a good source of fertilizer to get you started. As I've explained before, you can craft just about anything in this game, including all of the different soils from all the different biomes. All you need is dirt to craft these. Now you can place them down wherever you want to make your very own personalised farm. Now you can farm pretty much every item in this game apart from snowberries. Although they are next to useless, do be aware that if you're throwing them away, there is only a limited amount of them in your world. The only thing snowberries are used to craft is snowberry extracts, which are used to craft snowberry juice. Now speaking of rare items on console, you can actually find silver, gold and diamonds. These veins are extremely rare to come by, and as far as I know, are only found in the desert biome. You can sell these items for a good amount of dukes, but if you consider yourself a collector, then maybe you want to store them in a wall safe, because as I said, they are extremely rare to come by. When mining in any biome, apart from the desert, you will find resources at bedrock, but you won't find any iron veins. If you're looking to find the most resources for the biome that you're mining in, try mining between -20 and -40. This way, you'll find the most resources for whatever biome you're mining in, including a bunch of iron veins. Now, I figured this out after building my entire base, so don't make the same mistake as me, and that is that you can upgrade rebar frames straight into reinforced concrete, saving half of your cement mix. I built my entire base out of crafted concrete blocks and upgraded them from there, using twice as many resources as I had to. When crouching in this game, you can actually reach one block further. So if you have a bunch of spikes around your base and you're trying to reach some loot and it's just out of reach, then you can crouch down and you can get that extra block to get all that juicy loot. If you have airdrop markers on, you might have logged out one day and noticed that the marker disappeared. Now you can either place down a custom marker on the drop if you're not ready to get it yet, or if you travel close enough to the airdrop, the marker will reappear back on your map. When selling items to the trader, you will notice that they only buy 3 stacks of one item until they clear their stock. Now with guns, let's say you sell the trader 3 pistols but you brought 6 with you. You can disassemble the other 3 into parts and sell each part to the trader 3 times to maximize your profits. Just remember, he will only buy 3 of the same part as long as he doesn't already have it in stock.
That's right, do the math.
Now, a lot of people believe that the land claim block can stop zombies from spawning, but that's not the case here. The bed actually does that on console, so if you decide to clear out a POI and stay in it for the night, then you can place your bedroll down to stop any zombies spawning back inside of the POI. When you start up a new world in Random Gen, if you look at your map and you go to 00, there will 100% always be a hub city there. Not the best place to go on day 1, but it's always handy to know that there's a city there waiting for you. Another tip for when you load into a brand new world is there is an invisible safe zone around your character where zombies cannot and will not spawn, so you can take your time to harvest up some resources in peace. After a bit of testing, I think it's around 32 blocks around your spawning area. The auger's not only king for mining stone and iron, but also clay. If you take your auger to a patch of clay, then you're going to have a full stack of 6,000 clay in around a minute of digging with the auger. When digging for buried treasure, it's always going to spawn 3 blocks down. So you can dig down 2 blocks and dig around to expose the treasure chest. Now there is a chance that if the treasure spawns on a hill, that it can technically spawn 4 blocks down. So be mindful of this when digging around looking for those goodies. When you're doing some mining with the auger or anything that requires a lot of gas in this game, you will notice that gas takes up quite a lot of room in your inventory. But you can actually craft your gas into barrels and carry those around on your character and convert them into gas as you need it, saving yourself a lot of room in your inventory and a lot of running back and forth. It's also good to carry some gas barrels in your mini bike, so that way you'll know that you'll never run out of gas when you're on the road. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is the only item in the game that you can actually pick up just by breaking it, and that is the faucets on sinks or the taps. There's 2 different types, one will give you iron and the other will give you brass. You can break these and either scrap them in your inventory or put them into your forge to smelt them down, or you could place them down in your base on top of a sink that you purchased from a trader. Now, as always, I left the most important tip for last, and that is don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more console content. And if that's not enough for you, then I recommend checking out these other YouTubers who also post 7 Days to Die console content. And that is Spartan85, who does a lot of good Let's Plays with limitations and challenges, Rat Dogs Gaming, who also has some really good Let's Plays and does live streams, and Jason's Gaming, who also does Let's Plays with some really cool builds. And if you do check them out, make sure you let them know that NaturalBorn sent you. And if that's still not enough for you, then check out these older Let's Plays from Skippy, Cap, Grand Spartan, Cage848, or Game Edged. These YouTubers are PC players, but if you search for their Alpha 15 Let's Plays, then that's the same version that we have on console. I'll leave links to all of these channels in the description below. But that about sums it up for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video, or at least learned something new. But as always, stay safe out there, survivors, and I'll see you in the next one.